Hello, so welcome to Breathe, Dance and Yoga. This is a yoga glow class, so it's a strong yoga flow, so really designed to generate some heat, build strength, build mobility, stability and some flexibility as well. So obviously you can modify or take a different variation of any of the postures to suit you. So really tune into your body as you do this practice and really notice if there's anything that you need to perhaps change that suits you better. So just come to a comfortable seated position so you can cross the legs. If it feels uncomfortable, you can sit on a block or even on a chair, or you can perhaps kneel, but find a lengthened spine. So we don't want to be tucking the tailbone under. We want to press the ground away with the sitting bones. Feel that sense of lift and energy rising up through the spine. Front of the rib cage still connected into the body, so we're not flaring the ribs. And just close the eyes here. Just begin to draw your awareness now onto your breathing. Without changing it, just noticing. And what I'd like you to notice is perhaps at the moment it's quite light. Our general breathing pattern through the day is almost imperceptible sometimes. So it could be quite light, and that's totally fine. But notice when you can notice the movement, is it in the belly, further down the abdomen, or is it high up in the chest? And if you're high up in the chest, we want to bring it down. So at the lower part of our lungs, we've got more nerves that connect into the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve that really help us to tap into that rest and digest, or the sense of calm. And if we're breathing high up in the chest, we've got more nerves that attach into the lungs that are connected to the sympathetic nervous system, so the fight or flight. So that can trigger kind of sense of fear and being on edge. So if we bring that breath down, we're more likely to feel calmer. Try and breathe through your nose as well. Again, breathing through the nose also means that we've got something called nitric oxide, which is involved in the breathing process, which makes it much more efficient. And if we breathe through our mouth, that doesn't happen. And just begin to deepen that breath a little bit. See if you can breathe into the belly. Allow it to travel up to the ribs, all the way up to the armpits. And then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Continuing with that rhythm. It's roughly about 5 counts for the inhale and 5 for the exhale. So this is called resonant or coherent breathing. And just really begin to feel into the body. So we're dropping out of the mind into the body. Continuing with that breath. I'm going to give you an affirmation to work with. So our affirmation today: if I follow my inner wisdom, I am at peace with my own being. I completely trust the intelligence within me to guide me to the right path. The universe supports me in every positive way. So allowing yourself to really notice and feel into that sense of intuition, everything guiding us to our highest good. So as we feel centered now, focused, as we open the eyes, just begin to roll through those shoulders. Breathing through the nose. Keeping it around that 5 counts. As we move through, we might find that it becomes a bit heavier, but we'll just see if we can continue to keep drawing it back under control. And then send the fingers out to the side. As you push the ground away with the sitting bones, reach into the fingers and lift the arms up. Allow the shoulders to naturally rise, so we've got that scapulohumeral rhythm. being used, and exhale, reach those fingers, lower down. Feel that sense of expansion into the postures as we move today. Inhale. And exhale. One more of those. Inhale. As we exhale, releasing your right hand down, continue to lift up into that left hand, pressing the ground away, feeling that lift up and reaching to the side without any collapsing. So we're beginning to open through the intercostal muscles here. Breathe here. And exhale, releasing down. And again, inhale. Exhale, releasing your left hand down. Continue to reach into that right, find that length, that drawing up of the energy, and then release into the side. So we've got both sides of the waist long. Notice if you're starting to collapse here. Trying to keep both sitting bones connected to the floor. We're going to feel this more of a stretch here in the rib cage. And release. Good. Another roll through those shoulders. And then taking the arms out. So we're going to scoop the elbows together. Imagine you've got a block in between your elbows. You can actually do with this with a block if you wanted. And you're squeezing that block, or imagining you're squeezing the block. Your elbows are about shoulder height. Shoulders are down. And if you want to take one hand, you can feel into the front of the shoulder and around. We can really feel those muscles switched on. This is what we want to feel when we come into our Chaturanga Dandasana. Extend the arms out, inhale. Keep that feeling of the elbows working towards one another, and then draw and hug them in towards the rib cage. And notice that I haven't stuck my chin out or collapsed into the chest. We want the torso to stay still, and it's just the arms working. So when we come to Chaturanga later, we want to keep that sensation in the body. So from here, let's come into our tabletop. So take the weight into the hands and find a tabletop position here. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And just take a circle around. So we're just beginning to put a little bit of weight and movement into these wrists. If your wrists are particularly sensitive, then perhaps sit back and take a few rotations into the wrist first of all. But as we move around, we're shifting that weight, keeping a gentle engagement into the core, and then reverse that circle. Good. And then come to a central point. Inhale, taking cat-cow now. Lift the head, lift the tailbone. Feel that engagement through the back. Look forwards. Exhale, draw the navel in. Push the ground away with the hands. Tuck the tailbone under. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Release those hips down onto the heels. Sweep the arms back. Inhale, lift the arms. And exhale, lower down. Take a circle into those wrists now. And reverse it. And also just open and close the hand. Bring all your awareness into the hands, into the fingers, the wrists, the forearms. Moving that a little bit quicker. And another circle. Good. Bring the hands together and just kind of move from one side to the other, and even bring the backs of the hands together, just pressing as the elbows gently draw down, and perhaps backwards and forwards as well. Good. Another little circle. Come back into your tabletop, but walk the hands a bit further forward. Engaging into the glutes as we come into this variation of a plank. And we really think about drawing the front ribs in and the glutes engaging. So we've got this co-contraction. The glutes feel like they're pushing this way, the ribs are coming in. We create a really solid core, and we're pushing the mat away with the hands, but we're broad across the chest. Shoulder blades are really stuck onto the back. Now imagine you've got some hands on the back of your head, and you're pushing your head into those hands. So we're not just going to drop the head and release the neck. Hold in here. Inhale. And then as we exhale, that scooping action that we had of those elbows, see if you can engage that. And then we lower down, don't drop the head. Good. Inhale, baby cobra. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, squeeze your glutes, engage through the shoulders, maybe take those hands away. And then push your hips back into Balasana, child's pose. Hold in here. Inhale. And exhale. Lift up onto the fingertips and walk your hands over to the right. Keep the chest reaching down. Breathe into those tight areas. And back to center. Good. And then over to the other side. Breathe into those tighter areas. And exhale. Come back to center. Good. From here, let's come back to tabletop. This time tuck the toes under and send the hips back onto the heels. Taking a little toe stretch and a stretch through the instep. Holding there and then coming forwards. This time inner elbows are aiming to face forward. Press the mat away with the hands, lift the hips, keep the knees bent, coming to downward facing dog. Breathing through the nose. Front ribs are connected in. Lift through the sitting bones. So as you push the mat away with the hands, keep a sense of breadth across the shoulders, but you really feel like the bottom of your pelvis is being lifted out behind you. So we create a sense of space along the spine. Allow the knees to be bent here. Don't get too hung up about the heels coming down. One more breath here. And then begin to pedal through the heels, lift and lower. There's little cracks in my ankles. Good. And then let's walk the feet in. Walk the feet towards the hands and the front of your mat. Stay released over the legs. If you want, you can fold the arms onto the upper thigh, well, onto the thighs. You can keep it bending the knee, but release through the neck. Maybe coming into ragdoll here as you take hold of the elbows, coming into that figure of eight sway. And then nod the head. Shake the head. Shrug the shoulders. Now interlace the fingers, bring the hands onto the back of the head. Push the head into the hands, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone under, draw the navel in, and we unco. Press the ground away, lifting up, elbows draw out, look up, and then release. Good, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Spread into the fingers, press the mat away. Imagine the central meridian, you're zipping it up. As we come back to our affirmation, if I follow my inner wisdom, I am at peace with my own being. If I follow my own wisdom, I am at peace with my own being. Spread to the fingers. If it feels good to close the eyes here, and really feel that sense of expansion into the body, like you're radiating outwards. Okay, 2 sun salutations with lunges. Following the breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg back. Holding the breath, high plank or modify it. Exhale, lower. That scooping action involved here, don't drop the head. Inhale, cobra. Shoulders are down, glutes are engaged. Exhale, lift through the hips. Downward dog. Knees can be bent, focus on the spine, press the mat away. External rotation at the upper arm. Front ribs connected in. We've got our natural lumbar curve still in our back, so we're not flattening out the lower back or tucking the tailbone under. Sitting bones reaching out behind you. bend the knees, look between the hands. Step that right foot through, inhale. Exhale, both feet together, forward fold, and inhale. Exhale. Straight into the next one, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left foot back. Holding the breath, high plank. Exhale, lower. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Sphinx Cobra or Up Dog. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog, lifting those hips. One more breath. Exhale, bend those knees. Look between the hands and step your left foot through as you inhale. Exhale, both feet together. Forward fold and inhale. Exhale. Well done. Okay, come back to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Press the floor away, kneecaps are lifted, thighs are engaged. Feeling that connection, front ribs in, and that zip up action through the body. So we draw up through the central meridian and that engagement into our core. Okay, inhale, open the arms out. Exhale, sweeping your left arm underneath and your right arm over the top. We're going to come into Garudasana. You can leave the hands here, just bring the hand to the back, or you can continue that twist. Elbows draw away from the body, shoulders are down, and your hands are above the elbows rather than collapsed onto your head. From here, bend the knees. Now you can stay here if you want. Otherwise, we can cross that left leg onto the other one like a figure four, or we can wrap. You can leave the foot released or hooked around your calf. See what works for you. You might be a little bit wobbly. Feel that sense of the hips hugging together, drawing up through that central meridian, and keep the eyes still. Inhale. Exhale, float those knees down, your elbows down to your knees. And inhale. Good. Release the arms. Come all the way up to standing, floating that left leg up, and bring your arms above your head so that your elbows are in your hands. Okay, with that leg that's lifted, send it straight out behind you into a warrior three. Hips are at the same height, press the ground away. Whoop. Good, hold in here. And then releasing the arms, bend the knee, reach for the floor, and send that front foot out behind you. You've got an option to take a press up here. And then come into a three-legged dog, lifting that leg, inhale. Exhale, we're going to draw that thigh in, engage into Mula Bandha, step the foot between the hands, and we come all the way up into a warrior two as we drop that back heel. And breathe. Reach equally into both hands. Look into your drishti, that middle finger, and beyond. And then we're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. I'm just going to shift back a little bit. So think about your fingers making this position. So like spiky fingers. And we're going to think diagonally from our little toe outwards. So we're going to find the floor diagonally out from that little toe. Feel like we're grabbing hold and stack those hips. And then think about opening the chest. That top shoulder, if it's diving in towards the ear, draw it away from the jaw and lift into those fingers. Hold in here. And optional here, but you can take hold of that foot and add in a quad stretch. Or alternatively, you could see if you could take your hand away from the floor, or even shift your gaze upwards. Oh. Not for me. And then release back into your warrior two. Find that positioning. Well done. Inhale. Exhale, windmill the arms down, frame your front foot, high plank. Press that ground away. Lengthen out through the top of the skull and through the heels, engaged into the core. Exhale, lower, scooping action of the elbows. Inhale, coming all the way down. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, back to downward facing dog. Bend those knees, look between the hands, walk, step, or jump the feet through. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. And inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale. Okay, so we're going to do that on the other side. So inhale, lift the arms, sweep your right arm underneath, left arm over the top. Come into your version of the arms that suits you. And bend into the knees. Staying engaged into the core, you can stay here. Take a figure of four or wrap those legs. If we've got this wrap, we're squeezing those inner thighs together. And keep the eyes still. Inhale. And exhale. Draw the navel in, elbows come down to the knees. And inhale. Come all the way up. Release the arms. Continue to lift that thigh. Arms over the head. Elbows into the hands. Let's transition. With control. Sending that leg out behind you. Staying with hips at the same height. Front ribs connect in. Think about that inner thigh spiraling up so your knees and your toes are pointing down. Keep pressing those elbows into the hands. Inhale. As we exhale, bend into your supporting leg. Allow the foot to come down. Find the mat with the hands. Release that front foot out behind you. Option to press. And then take that leg up into a three-legged dog. Exhale, thigh into chest. Foot between the hands. Drop your back heel into your warrior two. And breathe. Think about drawing up through that central meridian line. The hips are hugging the legs in. We're pressing the ground away as we extend and expand from the very center of our bodies out. Drishti. Keep the eyes still. Soften the temples. Ardha Chandrasana. Finding the mat. You can also do this with a block. So you can get hold of the block. And, I should have said that with the other one really, and then press the ground away here. Or hold on to the wall, and then you've got the options, either look up, let's see if I can do it on this side, nope. You can take the hands away, or you could find that back foot and bring this into a quad stretch as well. All those variations and options, you take what you need and then release the foot back, whoops, without missing the mat. Warrior two, well done. Inhale. Exhale, windmill those arms down. Frame the front foot, step back to your high plank. Try and keep a neutral spine. Inhale. As we exhale, lower. Inhale, coming into your up dog or your cobra, shoulders down, glutes engaged. Exhale, downward dog. Breathe in here. Breathe into more into the abdomen, and as you exhale, find that connection into your core. Try and breathe through the nose. Sitting bones reaching out behind you as you press the mat away with the hands. One more. And then bend the knees. Look between the hands. You can walk, step, or jump the feet through. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Really draw the lower belly in. Think about the hips hugging the thighs, hugging the legs back in, and the hips are directly above the ankles as you reach the crown of the head to the floor. Inhale. And exhale. Fantastic. And release. Okay, we're going to come into a crescent lunge now. So from the front of your mat, lift up through your right knee, press the ground away with that supporting leg, take a moment here, and then send your foot directly out behind you, that right foot, press the ground away. Think about you trying to draw the legs together like a scissor, and we engage into the glutes here, particularly this back one. Lift through the arms, inhale, exhale, draw the elbows down. Good, and again, inhale, and exhale. Good. From here, inhale, lower down, keep the arms lifted, and exhale, push the ground away. Maybe straighten that front leg. Inhale, lower, and exhale, lift. One more, and exhale. Good. Reach to the floor, frame that front foot, release it into your three-legged dog, pressing the ground away with the hands. Inhale. Exhale, thigh to chest, stack shoulders above wrists. Inhale. Knee to the left elbow. Inhale. Knee to the right elbow. Inhale. Thigh into chest again. We're going to come into fallen triangle. So the back foot, we drop the heel down and we send that left leg through. Outer edge of the foot comes to the floor as we press the mat away. Hold in here, inhale. Good, and return that hand to the floor. Come back onto the ball of the foot. Three-legged dog. Stepping all the way back through. Exhale. Back to your crescent lunge. Exhale. Release those elbows down. And then return to the floor. High plank. Chaturanga Dandasana, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. You've always got options here to come to child's pose, breathing through the nose. I can feel my breathing really increase now, so I'm trying really hard to breathe through the nose, but I'm doing a lot of talking as well. So perhaps that's why I feel more out of breath. Okay, we're going to do that on the other side. So from down dog, bend those knees. Look between the hands, walking, stepping or jumping the feet through. Halfway lift, we inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, open the arms, press the ground away, lift the arms, exhale. And release those arms. Good. That radiator's on as well. So I'm really hot in here today. Okay, lift through that left knee. Press the ground away with the right foot. Feeling really stable. Notice that when you lift that leg, if your hips shift, but we want to keep them at the same height. So the torso doesn't change, the pelvis doesn't change. We're just lifting that leg. Good. And then we come into a crescent lunge. So it's directly behind, so it's like your feet are on two parallel lines, two train tracks. So press into the ground. Feel like the legs are trying to come together. Feel that glute engage as you do that. Good. Zip up through the body. Inhale. Exhale. Elbows draw down. Inhale. Exhale. Now we lower that back knee. Inhale. Exhale. Push the ground away. Inhale. push the ground away. Don't worry, there's a few wobbles. And inhale, release those hands, sweep your front foot back, three-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, thigh to chest. Keep that foot in close to the glutes, inhale. Knee to right elbow. Inhale. Knee to left elbow. Inhale. Thigh to chest. Hold in here and then fallen triangle. Drop your back heel. Send that underneath leg through onto the outer edge of that foot as you press your hand to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, bring that hand down. Thigh back into chest. Inhale, three-legged dog. And we'll step back through to a crescent lunge. Inhale. Bit wobbly on this side. Exhale. Hands down. Inhale to high plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog. Glutes engaged, shoulders down. Lower those knees now. Keep the knees wide, send the hips back. Into a child's pose. Try and breathe through the nose as much as you can. I'm just going to take a sip of water. If you've got one and need to, then by all means do so. Okay, come back up. Tabletop position. Take another cat-cow. See if this feels any different from the one that we did earlier. Inhale, lift the head, the tailbone. Exhale. Draw the navel in, press the mat away. Inhale. And exhale. Return to centre. Cross at the ankles and sit behind, and then take your legs straight out. I'm just going to move back to the centre of the mat. And make sure you're at the centre of your mat as well, because we're going to rock backwards, so make sure you've got nothing in the way. So lifting those shins. Have the hands behind you. And if we're feeling a bit crunched in here, we're going to lengthen. Feel like the crown of the head. So almost like this V shape. Your crown of the head is reaching, tailbone into the floor, drawing up. Feel that engagement into the core, and then maybe releasing the hands. And you've got an option here to straighten the legs. But we're going to finish with straight legs, so maybe bend them back. Inhale. We're going to rock behind, tuck the tailbone under, rock, and then see if you can catch yourself into that boat pose. Well done. Cross at the ankles. Come forwards. Come onto the forearms. Relax the neck. And then from here, we're going to come down onto our back. So coming onto your back, bring the feet in, hip distance apart, feet flat on the mat, knees pointing directly up. So we're going to come into a bridge position. So press into the feet, and as we press into the feet, we engage into the glutes and we lift the hips. Now we want to step the shoulders into the centre. So step one shoulder in, and we're externally rotating here, and the other. Clasp the hands, press into the feet, engage into the glutes, and push those hips to the sky. The neck should be free. You're looking straight up. You can always put a block underneath your hips if you want. One more breath, inhale. And then releasing the hands. Open out through the shoulders, then tuck the tailbone in. And as we lower down, feel like it's a string of pearls, and you're lowering down one vertebra at a time, trying to reach your tailbone away. Good. And then when we get to the bottom, just let the knees rock from side to side. Good. And then let's finish with a reclined pigeon. So we've worked quite hard on these glutes today. So left knee, let it come in towards your left shoulder rather than the centre of your chest. Left knee to left shoulder. Flex your foot,
And I want you to keep the integrity of the ankle. So we're not going to let it sickle out to the side, like that kind of where you make one side of the ankle longer than the other. So we're going to keep the integrity of the ankle. We're turning out through the hip, and we're going to put the outside edge of that flexed foot onto the other thigh. Now again, you can just perhaps place a block under that right foot as you press your left knee forward. That might be enough. Otherwise, we begin to draw that right knee towards our right shoulder. Keep your spine neutral so you've still got that lumbar curve. And we're really feeling that stretch into the glutes and into the outer edge of this left hip. We don't need our hands. It's quite an active stretch here rather than a passive. So let the legs activate and do the work. Relax the shoulders though and the neck. And release. Good, let's swap over. Right knee into the right shoulder. Flex your foot. Turn out through that hip. Outside edge of that foot onto the thigh. You can put your foot onto a block if you want, otherwise we draw that knee in. Right knee is pressing towards the front, left knee is drawing into the left shoulder. Oh, I can really feel it on this side. Don't flatten the back into the mat. Think about reaching your tailbone forward. Breathe. Start to really draw that breath down now. Slowing it down. And release. Good. Feet come back to the mat. And bring the feet together. Press into the feet, and we're just going to shift our hips a few centimetres to the left. Good. Let your knees drop down to the right. Oops. Move that block out of the way. Knees drop to the right. Open the arms, or perhaps cactus the arms where the elbow bends. And if you want, you can look in the opposite direction to the knees, or stay looking up as we come into our reclined twist. Really allowing that breath to begin to slow down now, still breathing through the nose. And then release the hips. Back to the mat. Recenter yourself, so let the pelvis come back to center. And then press into the feet, shift your hips to the right, drop your knees to the left. Find in that reclined twist. Breathing slowly. And then hips come back to the mat. Good, recenter. And now we get to come into Shavasana. So lengthen the legs out to the corners of the feet, out to the corners of the mat. Arms are just out from the body at the side. Let the fingers gently curl. Press your head into the mat and let your shoulders scoop underneath the heart, allowing a sense of space and openness through the chest. Soften the hips. Knees and toes drop out to the side. If you've got any sensitivity in the lower back, you can always bend the knees in. Feet come wide, knees drop together, and then you can stay here without any effort. You might be able to, where I'm recording from, it's a pretty windy day, so you might hear the wind buffering about. Okay, so staying here. I'm just going to sit up so I can guide you through this next bit, but if you stay in your Shavasana for the time being. So soften the skin across the forehead, the skin around the eyes, soften the temples and around the hairline, soften at the jaw, and allow your body to completely let go. Give in to gravity, allow the skull, the pelvis to be heavy, the arms and the legs, giving each cell of the body an opportunity for complete rest. And as you breathe, try and lengthen that exhale.
Perhaps the breathing becomes a little bit lighter and softer, but longer. Breathing through the nose, allowing that deep rest to happen. And I'll just remind you of our affirmation for today. If I follow my inner wisdom, I am at peace with my own being. I completely trust the intelligence within me to guide me to the right path. The universe supports me in every positive way. So really being present with the breath and the body. And if the mind begins to wander, just notice those thoughts. Perhaps label them, these are thoughts. And then see if you can bring your awareness and your attention back to the breath, back to the body. And as you rest there in Shavasana, I'm just going to read you a poem from Donna Ashworth. This is called Have the Courage. Have the courage to live as a whole, to listen to your heart, to talk to your soul, to know who you are when others do not, to look out for vibes, to filter your thoughts. Have the heart to appreciate life, to laugh and to cry, to accept both are right. To go with the flow when the winds of change rage, to learn to let go, to break free from that cage. Have the vision to share your own story. The ugly truth heals as much as the glory. Pass down your lessons, the joy and the pain. Remind those who follow to dance in the rain. Have the patience to wait for the signs, but never stop living, enjoying the ride. Listen to silence as loud as the screams. Respect life's sorrows. Follow your dreams. Perhaps just noticing the breath and letting those words, the affirmation, the poem, just land however they might feel for you. Notice if there's any emotions that arise from that. And again, maybe label them, acknowledge them. And then from your Shavasana, take a breath in. Feel that breath reaching down to the soles of the feet, the tips of the fingers, re-energizing, revitalizing the body. As you exhale, let go of any final tension. And then wiggle the fingers, the toes, circle the wrists and the ankles. Extend the arms out behind you, lengthening from fingertip to toe. Hug the knees in. Keep the knees wide if you want, all together. Rocking from side to side. Releasing the head down. And then coming all the way over onto your right hand side. Shoulders are stacked, knees are stacked. Let your head rest on the mat. Left hand comes onto the floor in front of your chest. Reach into that left leg, push the ground away with the right arm, that left hand. Guide yourself back into a comfortable position, kneeling perhaps or sitting, maybe even coming into a chair. Bring the palms together, thumbs connect to your sternum. Close the eyes. Inhale. Exhale. So we finish with that resonant, coherent breath. Notice that sense of calm, that sense of energy, vibrancy within you as you open your eyes, taking in your surroundings, but keeping that sense of energy, calm and vibrancy with you now for the rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking time to practice with me, and have a lovely day.